Yeah, now it started. So, hey everyone, welcome to the MuleSoft meetup organized by Bangalore Meetup Group and co hosted with Mysore Meetup Group. So, this is part of our Dreamforce tour, which happened, I guess, in uh, US, and now we are just doing a virtual tour for everybody. So, today's topic we will be delivering is for the MuleSoft meets AI and the IDP for the modern enterprises. So, coming up to the agenda, first of all, the introduction, and then the topic of the MuleSoft meets AI and the IDP for the modern enterprises, and a lot of subtopics and a lot of some useful information, followed by a great demo by Priya. And let's go. The speakers, myself, Pranav. I have been working as a technical lead in Tech System Global Services in India. And Priya, you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, so hi everyone, this is Priya and I'm currently working with LTI Mindtree. So it's been over 6 years I'm working in integration area. And yeah, before LTI Mindtree, I've worked with Cognizant and TCS as well. And I'm a mutual ambassador, meetup leader for Mysore and Kolkata, and a mentor and speaker. So yeah, that's pretty much about myself.
Just one quick update. She's no longer mentor. The once you achieve the master tag, you are no longer the mentor. So
Okay.
she's MuleSoft ambassador now, and I'm also. And we have a couple of MuleSoft ambassador and the meetup leaders joined today. So let's go towards the organizers. So we have Nitesh, Shyam, Grithar, Shubham, Jyoti, Vandana, Abhishek, Priya, and myself. So few of us are from the Bangalore meetup group, and few of them are from Mysore meetup group. So if you want to know about the next meetups or you want to get in touch with the organizers for the next as a speaker or anything related to the meetups, you can reach out to us. Okay, let's go to the main topic. MuleSoft meets AI. Yeah, seems a kind of a fancy term like MuleSoft meets AI, and AI is kind of a new kid running here and there in the technology town. Wanted to meet everybody, and everyone is interested to know what exactly AI can do for us. So, before we dive into how the MuleSoft and other stuff, what exactly is the generative AI? So, the concept of having machines talk or do the perform the task as the human beings. That is what we just predict or think about the AI. And it did not started directly from the generative AI. It was having the earlier the machine learning, wherein a lot of data was fed to the systems, and then it started predicting the scenarios. But again, it was just a step-by-step instruction, and then it was trying to get the outcome of out of it. And then later on, the lot of complex algorithm came into the picture, which could take generic information and do the same task without any step-by-step instructions. So that came to the deep learning, and now the version of the AI which we see, that we just pass some random input to the AI tools, and we can generate the text, image, code, voice, video, anything out of it. So generally we think like what kind of imagination it can goes up to. So just suppose that you are having you want a particular kid or a small kid to be riding on a dragon in the middle of nowhere with the mountains at the back, all that kind of scenarios. You just think right on the generative AI tool like the Chat GPT or DALI or something. If you are going with the Chat GPT, it's a text generation, and if you are going with the DALI, it's more of a image generation. So I just did one generative AI and just put the same thing which I was just discussing, like a kid riding a dragon on a laptop, because these days we are so accustomed with the laptops working everywhere, work from home, work from anywhere. So why not work from a dragon? So it gave me a picture of a kid sitting on a dragon, and also we can create a dragon working on a laptop or a MacBook or anything. So it's all about our imagination, and based on our imagination, based on the prompts what we give to the AI engine, it creates or generates the text or image or whatever we require out of it. So The rise of the generative AI. So there are three major contributing factors. So as we were discussing earlier, we were feeding the data. Initial stage, the data was less. So now we have a huge amount of data coming and gathering from every single click or every single part of the IT infra. We are capturing that data, passing it through the better algorithms, and now we have really good computing power with the AI models running on GPUs, CPUs, and using a lot of processing power to get the things out of it. So this is how it grows, and as you know, all that with greater power comes the great responsibility. I know it's by the Uncle Ben from the Spider-Man, but still, it's a really important thing which we need to take care of. That now, the four principle which we need to keep in mind and use the AI responsibly. One is the trust, security, accuracy, empowerment. Trust, making sure that we are adhering to the standards being laid down by our organization, and we are not then and we are following those standards holistically. Security, we should not be putting these our personal identification information or any private information which can cause any privacy breach or any kind of a security breach. So whenever we are interacting with any kind of AI model, make sure that you are not putting any personal information there, because again that information can be used to train the AI models, and since it's a generative one, so it can still use your information to generate something else. Accuracy, even though it has been trained a lot, though there are really good algorithms, but there will be always be a kind of a difference to what we are thinking and what we are giving as an input and what the output is coming up. So even though the AI has given you the answers, make sure that you review and revise with before you get into any conclusion. Empowerment, so it is making our life easier. It is giving us the supercharge or superpower, that our workload is reduced and we can do wonders with this particular powerful tool. Again, with greater power comes the greater responsibility. So moving on, so how the AI and the MuleSoft will work across your enterprise. So now we have the data sources, we have the AI models, we know the outcomes. So for that, we need to integrate our data sources with the AI models. So there exactly the MuleSoft will fill in. So AI models right now, there are OpenAI, Salesforce, Einstein, public models, open source model, proprietary model. So there are so many models, and there are some paid, some confined models. So there are so many things coming up. LLMs are there, and we can use it. So everything has been exposed on API, but now these models to work correctly should be fed by the data, and data are residing in our backend systems like Salesforce CRM, SAP, inventory, payment, databases. It can be in-house or on cloud, and we need some tool that can pull the data, fetch it, push it to the AI models, get the best outcome out of it, and then these things can be used to generate the final output. Like suppose we have a CRM already in Salesforce, so we need to predict which particular opportunity can be converted uh, to the actual thing. So for that, we can get the AI predictions from the Einstein and any other AI model, so that it can feed on our historical data, understand the pattern, and give us the approximation how the things may work. So again, the MuleSoft will work as in connecting data, leveraging the APIs, AI strategy, and the choice of LLMs. So all these things coming together will work for your enterprise to build the end-to-end solution. Let's move on to the MuleSoft intelligent processing. So which is another topic of discussion, that is now we have currently the generative AI and all those things, but still we are using a lot of paperwork. Where exactly this particular tool can help us? So why the first question comes, why we actually need a scalable document processing solution? So just imagine that You need to process a purchase order or the invoices, and you are just one person in a particular enterprise, and daily you are getting 1000 invoices to process. If you are going manually, taking the details from the paper, putting into a ERP system, uploading the data, submitting the invoice, it is like a time consuming. And what you will think, okay, fine, I'm just one person, I will add 10 more, the job can be reduced. But again, we are putting more human power to make the repetitive task that can be done automated by a AI tool, the IDP, intelligent document processing. And this the current process of manually reading everything, it's inefficient, and we cannot scale beyond certain point. So you can keep 10 people, 20 people, but at the time there will be a limit to that, how many people you are, and they are doing the same, the repetitive task. So but again, we need some solution that can do the end-to-end processing for us. So conventional technologies, that was what I was just explaining, where exactly they fall short. The structured data, because when you are having the scanned document or a PDF, the data is not in a structured form like a JSON or XML. It's like human readable format, but not a structured one. For a machine to read or any API to extract the data, so there comes the optical character recognition that will read the usable words, and then we can feed that data to the custom trained AI models for it to make it usable. So now all this part, but the conventional technologies, it will fall short because they don't have any innovation challenge. They don't have AI innovation, lack of data validation, accuracy. All these concerns will be there, which are listed down on the screen. And to solve this, we have intelligent document processing by Salesforce and the MuleSoft, wherein you can extract the relevant information from a particular document, automate the complete workflows. Once the data is extracted, you can automate the workflow, what you want to do with the data which has been captured, and then what the outcome will be, that it will accelerate your time to market. And suppose you are reading the invoices, you want to read the data, and once you are using the IDP, it will extract, do all the things for us. So the job which was earlier being done by 10 or 15 people, it can be done only just with the one person. That person is only task will be to validate the things if something goes sideways. But most of the time, things like extracting the relevant information, pushing it to the backend system, everything can be done through the IDP and MuleSoft. So IDP will extract the information, enrich the data with the help of AI, push it back to the MuleSoft, and the job is done. So we will see how the things will work in the real time at the time of demo. Now, as I was saying, that we have to take up the data from the printed invoices or handwritten invoices. This is how the AI and the deconstruction of document, actually reconstruction document problems are there, that how to read these information and then process it. So first of all, what it will do is it will try to find which type of document it is. Is it a purchase order? Is it a invoice or advance shipment notice? Then it will extract the information out of it, do the validation. If the line items total is matching with the net total, discount and everything, and then finally the integration to the backend systems. Or if there is any validation which we require, that if the amount is more than $100,000, it should send a notification before it, if it requires a human intervention, that this invoice should be purchase order should be processed or not, or rejected. That all kind of validation can be created and human intervention can be added. So what it will give us, it will save a lot of time and human efforts. So this tool can be a really powerful and can be used in the enterprise integrations. So target verticals and the use cases. So we have various kind of industries like retail and consumer goods, manufacturing, energy and utilities, business services. So all these kind of industries have different uh, so these transportation, media, government, high tech, telecoms. All these are different industry, but they have a lot of paperwork, and they deal a lot with the PDFs and the printed documents or the handwritten documents where this can be leveraged out. So, what kind of documents? Again, the order confirmation, purchase order, invoice management, invoice and receipt, vendor order booking, customer services. All these documents can be processed and worked upon by the IDP. Moving on to the invoice automation demo. I guess now, Priya, can you please take over from here and show our audience and all the mules how the things work for the IDP.
Yeah, sure. I'll just share my screen. Okay, so I hope it is visible.
Yes.
Um, yeah. So, hi everyone. So, I hope by now you must have got an idea about what is IDP and how it works. So now let's jump to the demo part where we are going to see how we can automate invoice flow end to end. Okay. So for your information, you can use IDP with RPA as well as Anypoint platform. But for this particular use case, we are going to make use of Anypoint for our integration with IDP. Okay. So let's jump to the use case for this demo. So for this particular use case at Anypoint platform side, we are going to develop a flow. Okay. And then we are also going to create a document action at the Mule IDP end, right? So at the in our Anypoint studio, we are going to create a flow having a like where we are going to invoke our flow with HTTP post method having file name and location. And then in our flow is like basically going to read the document from the FTP location, and then it is going to transform the message to multi-part form data. So multi-part form data is the expected format which is required by IDP. Okay, so after formatting it, it is going to make a call to IDP. Okay, so at IDP end, obviously we need to create a document action, which we will also see how to create that. So once our document action is receiving that document, it is basically reading that document, and the moment it receives, it also generates a execution ID. Okay, so as you know, like IDP works in asynchronous mode. So with that execution ID in our flow only, what we are going to do is like we are going to do a get call to the IDP again to fetch to basically fetch all the extracted information out of the document. And then for our use case, we are storing few of its information to the database, right? But what will happen if suppose your document has some important fields missing? Suppose you needed an invoice number, which should be a required field for that one for the document, but it is not present in the document. Or suppose it might happen that the extracted information has lower confidence threshold. So in that case, what will happen? So IDP generally here suggests to take action on those document manually. So we are going to see like how we are going to take care of this failed document as well. So now let's like quickly jump to the Anypoint platform. Okay, so the moment you will logging to the Anypoint platform, this is the home page, right? So you would be seeing this IDP present under automation section. So if you have access to RP and Composer, you should be able to see IDP also present. So you don't need a separate licensing for that. So it is under the same automation bundle where you will be getting this. Okay, so now let's get started with IDP. So the moment you'll click on it, you will land to the IDP homepage, which basically tells you that you can make use of it to read and analyze your document for your automation. And then on the left hand side, you'd see a document action. So these are the several document existing like document actions, and you can also create a new one from here. And then we have a review task. So whenever any document having some issue related to the confidence threshold or related to the data, it will fall under review task category where you'll have to manually take action, review, and then submit and done. Okay, so let's create a new document action for our invoice demo flow. So for that, if you'll see, If you click on create new, you are seeing invoice and purchase order. So IDP by default comes with two out of the box predefined template, okay, where you don't like all the fields required for this invoice and purchase order are already present. So you don't have to define it on your own. And like if you have any specific requirement and you want to extract any other field, obviously you have a prompt option available to do so, right? So in my case, I've already created one document action which I'm going to show you right now. So this is the document for our demo which I'm going to use. So if you'll see, it is a demo invoice document. It has a table with all the product related information, and then you also see it is a 2 pages document, right, um, which we are going to upload, right? So here we'll get select options to basically choose your file first. So I'm going to choose this invoice document file and click on run button. So this is how like usually you will give your file to IDP to process any document. So all these existing fields you will see will be will get populated with the information the moment it finishes the execution. So there are obviously a lot of fields. If you don't want, suppose, signature, tax, and there are other fields also which you don't even need, right? So you can hide those fields so that next time IDP don't even like consider this field to parse, okay? And then if you want to see from where it has extracted this party buyer information, so obviously in the left hand side you should be able to see all the like highlighted place from where it has extracted. And suppose if you have any field, for an example, your party buyer like telephone number, and if you want to make like if you want to you know make this field required or not required, you can do it from here. Or if you also want to suppose change the content threshold, you can do so from here as well while configuring your document action. So we are at the first stage where we are basically configuring our document action. So once you are done, with the changes, trying out how your fields are getting extracted, you can move ahead with the second step. But before that, let me also show you how well it has extracted the table part as well, which is not possible, not accurately possible in other OCR technology. So if you click on this and see, it has pretty well extracted the table part as well, right? And suppose in my requirement I have a prompt added as well. Why? Because this particular field is not present. So I have defined my field. I can show you in edit. I have defined my field and I have added a prompt, right? And I've added a confidence threshold because this field is not that much important for me. So I've added just 10 confidence threshold. So it has, if you see, our IDP is intelligent enough to work on your prompt as well. So this is done. I'm good with this. Now second step is to add your reviewer. So if you see, like, we have to mandatorily, like, add at least one reviewer. So in that case I've added one. In your case you can add one, too many, like it is generally in your, like, based on your requirement, and accordingly those person would be responsible to review your task, okay? Then you have to publish it. So the moment you will publish it, you'll get two options. One is, to make use of this with RPA or Anypoint platform. So as I mentioned, we are going to make use of it with our Anypoint platform, right? So I've already published it as well. So let's see. Sorry, we have to go to exchange, right, where we should be able to see this document action as an asset. So this is my asset, okay? And if you will see how IDP has given this asset to us, so we can actually make use of that document action as a REST URL. So this is our URL, so that it becomes very easy for any other system to integrate with, right? And if you will see, like, our IDP, as it works on async mode, we have two methods available. One is to post the document, and the moment you'll post it, you'll get an execution ID with which again we are making a call to get, right, to get that extracted information. So what if you want to see, like, how your JSON is going to look like before starting with your development? We can do that here as well. So if you will see, this is the host, which is where we have published our asset. So we will make use of this host URL, not the mocking one, right? And what else is needed if you want to trigger this endpoint? So if you'll go down, see, like our IDP is well protected with OAuth. So we obviously need a token to trigger that service. So how we will provide that? From where are we going to get the client ID and client secret? So for that, what we have to do, yeah. So what we have to do is, like, we have to go to the access management, of course, and then we have to go to the um, connected app, right? So to access our IDP, like it consider it as an external system, so obviously we need a connected app to connect with that. So you can create an app. Okay, if you do not have any app, you can choose this option. And other important thing is to add in scope. So you have this document action which you must add for your scope, otherwise it will not work. So I've already created, like, you just have to check this, but I've already created one app which I'm going to make use of. So what you'll have to do is, like, just copy the client ID from here. So just paste it and then copy the secret, paste it, and just request a token. So the see, like, the moment you'll receive the token, you can now access the endpoint, otherwise it will give authorization issue. So now what you'll have to do is just enable the advanced option, and in the header use this token. Now other things, like, you obviously you'll have to provide the document. So just provide the field name as file, it is mandatory. And then you have to provide your invoice document, done, and then send it. So we have not just started with, like, any of the development activity. We are just seeing, like, how it is working, right? So we have just got the execution ID, as I mentioned, and then we have to go to get option. And if you see, it is a required field. I have pasted the execution ID, and then obviously have to provide the header, authorization header, and then click on the send button. So see, like, how well it has extracted the information and giving you the JSON response out of it. So without, for, like, doing the development only, how IDP is going to send back the response. You can just start your analysis, initial analysis with this. Okay, so this is done. We are done with publishing our asset. Then we can proceed with the development, right? The final stage. So obviously you can have this asset as a connector also available, which you can make use of it in your Anypoint Studio. So this is Anypoint Studio where I've opened my application, and then have have imported this connector from Exchange. You can also add it. Okay, so as you can see, two connectors are available separately for post and get. So this is my flow, and if you remember our use case, I have just developed the flow in that manner only. So this is my request, which I am sending to my flow, having a file name and file path. So I'm setting the file name, file path, and then based on the file path, I'm reading that file. Then I'm converting that file to base 64, and then I'm again converting it to multi-part form data, which is the expected format of IDP. Then I'm making a call to IDP connector. So if you see the configuration, we are using the same information which we're using it, right? We need a client ID, client secret, and that this host, port, etc., which we have added. And then the moment you'll make a call, you will receive execution ID, which we are storing in our payload. And then again, we are, with that execution ID, we are making a get call. And then whenever you receive the response from the IDP, it will always contain a status. So in my use case, if my status is succeeded, I'm inserting it to invoice table. And if it has any other status, then I am saving it to invoice to review table, right? So if I trigger my flow, my output will look something like this, right? The JSON, expected JSON, which will have all the extracted information, and also clearly see, like, if you remember, I had two pages, right? So in page one, these are the extracted information, and then again you will also see the table information in a table field, right? And then we will also see page two somewhere down. Hmm. Pages. Okay, I'm not sure why it is not showing, or maybe oh, sorry, this is the other document. So this is the one where you will be seeing page two as well, and it has extracted information. So how clearly it has separated all the extracted information page wise, you can clearly see from here. Okay, and obviously the status it will have. in my case for this one is succeeded, and if I see other one, it is having manual validation required. So tell me what will happen, like I have already exposed one, a document action. Okay, what will happen if I try to, send a document which is not of invoice type? Anyone, like, who can answer what will happen to that? I want to see some answers. If anyone can tell, what will happen if I try to, uh, you know process a document which is not of invoice type to the same, document action?
Error or null?
Okay, any more guesses?
Man,
It won't be validated or review.
manual
Okay.
validation record.
Okay, quite good, right? Any other? I'll just wait for 10 more seconds if anybody wants to answer. uh okay, invalid document type. Okay, so I'll move ahead with the answer. So see, like I have done one more, I've tried to process one more document here which is of type purchase order. So obviously, like, it will, the thing is, like, it will process the document for sure. Okay, only problem is that it might have null filled for most, it will might have null filled for most of the information. So why, like, I'm saying this because most of the fields in purchase order and, your invoice, most of the fields are pretty much common, so for that it is fine. But most of the field will not have, like, it will come as a null for sure. Okay, and the other thing is it will have a manual validation required because it won't be able to fit best with your document action which you have configured. Okay, so it is always recommended to have your document action based, like, for your particular, like, for one particular use case you can have one document action, and then for other type of use case you can again create another document action. Okay, but tell me one thing, like, in future what issue we might face. So we can have multiple assets, published to our like exchange, and then you will again feel like, oh my god, like, we have got so many things to deal with, right? And it might create a confusion. So for your particular use case, when you're seeing like you are making use of IDP a lot, you can again go ahead and make use of your generic custom connector, which you can use for all type of flow, and in that way you can, you can basically escape for that overhead which you might face in future because of, a lot number of asset published to the exchange. Okay, so this is the one which I triggered using the other kind of document. So if I'll show you the table as well, so see, like, in case where it was succeeded, I have inserted invoice number, invoice date. Pretty cool, right? And then if you see invoice to review, this is having execution ID and invoice number. As the document does not had that field present, obviously it is having unknown added to my table, and the other thing which it has extracted, it's fine. So why I have kept the execution ID? So tell me what will happen. Like, obviously we are processing the document, and those who have gone to manual validation, which I'm going to show you right now. Yeah, so I'll go to intelligent document, and then I'll see my review task. So if you see here, I have one purchase order. So this is the one which I had triggered 1 hour back, and if you see, it has come to manual validation. Obviously this document itself is incorrect, so that is fine. I can just review it, correct it, and click on submit. Done. But how you are going to process it again, right? So obviously we will need this execution ID further. So as I had also shown you, like, I don't have that flow created, but as I was showing you earlier, like, if you have exchange ID, how you can again make a call to IDP, right? Using this get connector. So again, you can develop a flow having, like, using this get document where you can uh, pass this execution ID and again process it. Okay, so this is how you can basically manage your unprocessed document. Okay, so this is all about your like predefined template, you can say. But how we can create a document which is not either of type, invoice or purchase order. So for that, we have to go for generic option. So suppose I have one document already available. So for that, obviously, you need to give the name, the description, and go ahead. But I'll show you the one which is already existing here. Okay, I'm just going to select one file, resume. Okay, it is obviously not fitting to that category. So now I'll use generic option to pass this document. And I'm also like, if you are going with generic option, important thing is that you have to define your own fields on your own based on the requirements. So I have defined my fields, candidate name, experience, designation. In that way you can add more, up to 30. Okay, and I've added my prompts. So let's see like how it will behave, how IDP is going to work on any document which is not among the predefined template. So it is running, and you can see like it is pretty well able to extract information from other type of document as well. And you can again make use of this, you can again publish it and again use it in your flow, and it will work as expected. Okay, so this is about the generic document. You can use any other document here and define your fields. Okay, then moving ahead, what is next? So we already know that IDP went GA on like 20, I think it is in the month of April this year. Okay, but what next you can expect from IDP? So obviously, like as you know, Einstein is everywhere in our Salesforce or MuleSoft product. So similarly, I like Einstein for IDP is also going to be launched pretty soon in Q4. Okay, and what we can expect again from this Einstein enabled IDP, it will become even more intelligent than what it is today. Okay, and obviously additional benefits which you're going to get is like you can extract fields from unstructured data. And other important and cool thing about that is like you can also send a prompt that you want a response in a particular format. So until now there is no such capability, right? But with Einstein you can also define your expected format, how do you want the data to look like. Okay, then obviously the classification and summarization of document will also become very easy. So suppose you have a document and you want your IDP to summarize those information for you, then this Einstein is capable of doing that as well. Okay, so let's see one of the example of it. So currently, as I mentioned, Einstein is in staging a phase. Okay, it is currently not GA, of course. So how it is going to look like, I'll just show you. So this is like a Einstein enabled IDP. Okay, so in the generic option you are seeing this Einstein picture in between. So that means it has all the IDP, Einstein capabilities. So it will work like functionality wise, it is still going to behave same. It's just like you are getting more options to do the work quickly. Okay, so moving ahead, like suppose this is a driving license document. Okay, you have defined your fields. So isn't it the similar way we are doing right now as well, right? Same way, but here when you will be defining this prompts, you will also get some suggestions that I'm not able to show you right now. But yeah, when you will be configuring your prompts, you will also get suggestions what prompt you can add. So I've added two prompts like this, which looks okay, fine. It's a simple generic prompt. But other interesting thing about the prompt is like see my instruction here. So you have clearly mentioned like get this document and also format whatever response you are bringing back, just format in this JSON structure. And you have also provided a placeholder to fit those response, right? So this is how my instruction is like. It is very much well written, well explained for the Einstein to work on. Okay, so our Einstein obviously has become more capable, and then how it is going to send back the response, I'll show you in my next slide. So for the first two one, if you'll see how it is sending the response, so currently you are receiving two types of confidence threshold. One, of course, our IDP NLP, which we are using right now, and another one is Einstein. So if for few cases it might happen that our IDP NLP is working better, and for few cases, of course, Einstein can go, work in a better manner. So just it is showing like two confidence threshold, right? Then other important and interesting thing which I was showing you, see the response. So current IDP obviously it is not capable, so it has given not found, but Einstein has pretty well, given the response in your expected format in a JSON. Isn't it cool, right? So this is what you can expect from IDP to work in later Q4, like after the Q4 release, which so you can definitely keep an eye on it. So that's pretty much covering all the functionality about IDP. So before I take or we take further question, I'll just cover this quota and limitation part as well. So currently IDP is supporting PDF, PNG, JPG format, and the file size, it has a different when it comes to UI, it is 10 files per upload, and then one file can have maximum of 50 pages, and the document size should not exceed 8 MB. And then for the API, there is no limit on the number of files. You can have as many number of files you can go right, you can use. And then obviously this limitation 50 pages per document is important, and 10 MB per file size they have mentioned. For prompts, obviously your prompt has to be in English. Your document language, although, can be in English, Spanish, German. Okay, so currently three languages are supported, and as it works on asynchronous manner, so the polling interval should be 10 seconds, which they have mentioned. And you can of course go ahead and deep dive more about it for further information over the internet. So with that, I think I'm done with the demo part. We will move ahead and take some question if you have any.
I guess, Priya, we have questions in the chat from Leonardo.
Okay.
He's asking, can we use different endpoints for different document types, publish different document actions for each document type?
Yeah, so if you want to make use of, say, like, of course, if you're creating different document actions, then it will have a different endpoints. But if you want to, have one generic endpoint, you have to create your own custom connector to, fit that requirement. So of course, for different document, different endpoints you're going to have. It can't be one, otherwise it will go for reviewer. Not mandatory to publish. Reviewer is mandatory. Okay, IDP recommends at least to have one reviewer. Once in a we can call IDP using REST API component instead of IDP because of if you're making changes to document and publish new API version will create at point you need to update the IDP character. Yeah, so of course you can go ahead using, like I already showed you via the exchange also, how we can trigger. So that is one way of triggering the IDP. Other is of course using the connector. So if you are using connector, so make sure, like if you are making again changes to your document action, again you have to go back and use the latest version of your connector. Okay, you have to update your flow. So I will also show you, as I could see that file fields are directly written in the target database from the designer. How the same company works when. Oh, okay. I'll share my screen once again. Yeah. Yeah, so as I was mentioning, like it will for my use case, if you are processing the same document again and again, right? I've just created a dummy table. It does not have any primary key constant kind of thing. So it will accept it, like it will insert it twice. So let me show you. Okay, so I have this. I'll trigger it once again. So this is the same invoice document, and my table is pretty simple. I've not added any primary constant. Okay, so I'll just trigger it. So in local, I've seen like it takes little bit more time than cloud when using cloud up URL directly. So we'll just wait for some time and see this is succeeded. And if I'll go back and see my table, see it has inserted the same records. So you can again have your uh, you can handle your flow, like if it is inserting again and it will having a duplicate value, of course your flow you have to catch that error and do the further processing.
So I
It
guess
hmm.
to add to this that point, it again depends upon how we are managing our backends and how we have written the logic to insert the data to the backend.
Hmm.
Every time we are uploading the same file, we will be getting a different IDs. So every time it's a different execution. So again, so all those scenarios we have to handle in our Mule application.
Yeah, and related to like 50 pages, of course, like you have to test it. I've not tried with that such a big, document. But yeah, of course, you have a option also to, specify your response timeout, because of course IDP is going to take a lot of time. So mostly like what I have observed that if you're using, existing template, so like your purchase order invoice, it takes little bit time when there's no like less prompts or no prompts used. But when you're using like a lot of prompts for extraction, it generally takes few seconds more than expected. Okay, so you can define it and just check like how your IDP is performing. Okay. Yes. So for reviewer, like you have some timeline. I think for 60 days. Yeah, you have to. For 60 days, it will have this, task available for you to take action. Okay, and after once you have taken action, then I think like what MuleSoft does is like for 7 days for the processed document for 7 days it keeps or store that file in S3 bucket for 7 days, and then it cleans up the document which you have processed. So at least for 60 days it will be here for you to take actions, and the moment you will take action, further 7 more days will be there in the S3 bucket of AWS. Okay. Yeah. So any more questions? So for your information, just few more thing I'll add, like behind the scene, like this IDP is using AWS. Okay, S3 for of course for the document, and then it is also using RDS, right? So there are a lot of AWS technology working behind the scene. Okay, and later point of time we are going to have more predefined templates available, like your ID proof one is the one, then table extracting tables directly from the file. That template is also like in the future release, which you can actually Google and see what you can expect again in Q4 release. Yeah, I can share you the project as well. So I'll do one thing. With this recording, I will also share the GitHub URL for this. You can take a look. I'll ask Bangalore teammates to share add that URL as well in the meetup link page. I presume document action for invoice will be taken care by business. Yeah, so of course you can define your role here. So in many organization everything works in a role based model and hierarchy way. So if your SME, like, or your business people can have this document action, they can take care of the document action, configure those according to the business use case. Then of course MuleSoft developer can take care of those development part, and again reviewer part you can again hand over this responsibility to your business folks to take care. Okay, so it depends upon your organization, how they are working, in which model they are working. So yeah, any more question? I just want to see a raised hand, or maybe in the chat, like who else has used IDP, at least have, you know, I presume the document